Alright, well, back at it again. Now, where are those two? Where are those two fucks that keep disappearing from each chapter? Takano and Tomitake. Now I finally remembered his name. Usually I forget his name, because he's so, like, he appears so little in these chapters, I swear.
住民の代わりに喧嘩をするのが仕事だからな。
I mean, go figure. In this chapter, we find out that huge twist that Tomitake apparently is like a governor or some higher up in like whatever organization is behind this. Jesus.
強くて当然だわい。さとこちゃんも無事で本当に良かった。これからは何かあったらいつでも相談してください。必ず味方になりますよ。
They rubbed Satoko's head while they spoke.
ありがとうございますですわ。
God damn it, this again. I'm just gonna read it myself. Because I cannot read this aloud, like, quickly. Nice.
本当に立派なお子さんをお持ちで羨ましいですな。
いえいえ、圭一なんてとんでもない。お、圭一、お父さんたちも来たぞ。
はあ、圭一くんのご両親だ。こんばんは。
I think this is the first time that we see Keiichi's parents, like, at the festival?
はじめましてなのです。圭一のニャーニャーをしておりますリカなのです。
Keiichi's meow meow?
どうもはじめましてですわ。北条さと子と申します。
あなたがさと子ちゃんね。こんなにひどい怪我をして本当にかわいそうに。
今後も何かあったら圭一をぜひこき使ってやってください。それと引き換えと言ってはなんですが、どうですかお嬢さん、ぜひ今度モデルに。
なんだか監督と近い属性を感じるお父様ですわね。
すまん、こういう親父なんだ。
でも温かくて楽しそうなお父様でしたよ。
Imagine.
こんな楽しい綿流しのお祭りは僕も初めて見ますのです。
His father is gonna make posters for Keiichi when he becomes, like, the head of the village. Vote for Keiichi as the new president. He'd be my president.
そうね。私も初めてよ。というか、あんたの方が長生きしてるんだもの。あんたが初めてなら、私にとっても初めてに決まってるじゃない？でもきっと綿流しという名前のお祭りになってからの中でも一番賑やかで楽しいお祭りだと思いますのです。そもそも綿流しのお祭りが楽しいお祭りになったのはここ数年のことでしょ。明治以降は退屈な古出家の儀式だし、それ以前は鷹の好みのお祭りだったはず。今日は意地悪はなしね。楽しみましょう。私たちも。私とあなたを祀る夜なんだから。
You know, Rika, it's all fun and games and all that, but let's not forget that some death is gonna happen this night no matter what. If I'm to think of Takaro and Tomitake, that is something that we're definitely forgetting about. Alright, well, let's see about the new tips and then move on from there. See what the rest of this story has for us. Watch therefore, for ye know not what hour your Lord doth come. But note this, that if the goodman of the house had known in what watch the thief would come, he would have watched, and would not have suffered his house to be broken up. Therefore, be ye also ready, for in such an hour as ye think not the Son of Man cometh. Even God does know when he will descend once more. He is constantly prepared for that day to come. Have faith in your God at all times. Your God doesn't even know when he'll see the light. Don't spare any effort. Study hard every day. Have the passion for discovery. You never know when you will be rewarded, but the day will come for sure. Until then, you must let the fires of your passion burn bright. Yifumi T. Nah. Okay, well, this is new. Hifumi, is that somebody that, like, is that a name that I recognize? Besides the Alpha and the Omega himself? Nah, I don't think so. In this story, that is. Hifumi T. T. I don't know. He seemed like a religious person, so I wonder if it's...
そんなことを言ってたね。
Ah, there you are, you motherfuckers. Like, I don't know if it's... I don't think it's Rika's father. I think Rika's father was named before as well. Like, that's the only person that I can think of.
でもどうしてだい？どうして僕と高野さんが殺されなきゃならないんだい？
あらあら、私たちが5年目のたたりに名前を連ねられるなんて名誉な話よ。
Ah, so Rika is talking to both of them. Good. As I expected, they didn't really take me telling them that they'd be killed on Unavoidable festival seriously. They did keep their promises to tighten up my security after I showed them the ritual storehouse. However, they hadn't given one thought to their own safety. Well, like I said, I didn't expect them to believe me. If they were willing to take me seriously, I could have easily changed their fate a long time ago.
もう一度言いますです。富武は喉をかきむしって、高野はどこか遠くの山奥で焼かれて死にますです。
喉をかきむしるって、それはレベル5の末期症状のことかい？大丈夫だよ。僕はちゃんと注射を受けてる。そんなことはありえないよ。
私だってあんまりね。どこか遠くの山奥で焼死なんて失礼な話だわ。
God, again, they're talking about it so casually. Like, I don't...
それがあなたの夢の中に出てきたというの？
今夜だけでもどうか気をつけてほしいのです。騙されたと思ってどうか僕の言うことを聞いてはくれませんですか？
私たちの身に迫る何かというのも夢のお告げなのかしら。大丈夫よ。あなたの身辺は山犬がちゃんと警護しているわ。今日だって8人があなたの近辺を警護しているのよ。
ありがとうです。僕の警護は十分助かっています。ですから高野たちも同じく用心してほしいのです。
心配してくれてありがとう。大丈夫だよ。こう見えても体は鍛えてるんだ。降りかかる火の粉くらいはちゃんと払えるよ。
Tomitake flexed his biceps and smiled. Yeah. Speaking of working out, like, have you seen his sprite? Like, in the manga gamer style? Actually, you know what, let me just see. change art styles. I think it's something... Please let the animation finish. Oh, there you go. I don't know what that was about. Hey, damn, look at him. These bastards. He was probably trying to make me feel better. But all he really did was make me feel sadder. And this is the sad part about being me. I know the future, but I can't tell them. It's as if that was a rule of the road. People tend not to believe what I tell them.
でも死ぬのです。富武と高野が死ねば次は僕が殺されるのです。二人が死んだら誰が僕を守ってくれるのですか？
どうも相当悪い夢を見たみたいね。大丈夫よ。もし万が一私たちが死ぬようなことがあっても山犬があなたを警護するわ。
山犬は本当に僕を守ってくれるのでしょうか？守ってくれた試しはないのです。
そんなことないわ。あなたがふっかけた喧嘩にも現れたでしょ。あなたの近辺を常に警戒してくれているわ。もちろん平時にはそこまでの警戒はしていないけれど、先日のあなたの要望以来、あなたへの警戒態勢は非常に高度な状態を維持しているわ。入江所長の警護よりも厳重なくらいよ。
富武と高野が死んだ後もその警戒態勢は維持されますですか？
無論よ。あなたの身ほど大事なものはないんだから。
僕たちは今夜殺されてしまうともう決まってるのかい？参ったな。
富武に生き残る意志がないのなら死んだ後の私の身にしか興味がないです。
My words must have left a mark on his heart. He looked much more serious after I said that to him.
やれやれ。わかったよ。せいぜい今夜気をつけるよ。沖宮へ戻るときは僕にも警護をつけることにする。
二人の時に襲われるのだと思います。だから今夜二人きりになってはダメなのです。
あらあら、焼いてるのかしら。おませさんね。
Like I thought, I cannot change their fate. When we saved Satoko, everyone shared the same sense of urgency. That's why we all got together and saved her before it was too late. However, these two have no sense of urgency at all. How can I make them understand? Erika, here's a thought. They're probably not gonna listen to you, like, at all. Especially Takano, if I'm to think about my theories. How about this? Just end the discussion there. They quote-unquote understood the assignment. Just let them be. And just follow them. Just follow them wherever they go. And see what happens exactly. How Tomitake dies. How Takano quote-unquote dies. And then maybe you're gonna learn something from this. I sighed and gave up.
富武、高野、さようなら。今日までありがとうでした。
ちょっと待ちなよ。リカちゃん。
Like let's be a bunch of snooping little detectives right over here in secret. Just follow them. I had nothing else to say to them now. Instead, it might be worth talking to someone else. If I could get someone else to protect them, I might be able to change something. I can't give up yet. Fate is as thin as a piece of paper. Now granted, what I was thinking of before was with the idea that, okay, we should totally let them die, but Rika doesn't want them to die, like, no matter what, in order to change the fate, you know. I was thinking that maybe if we learn more about their deaths, we could change the fate ourselves somehow. I mean, quote-unquote, change Rika's fate somehow. Like, if we learn more. Because for all the stuff that Rika knows up until this point, there very well could be stuff that she doesn't know yet. In fact, I do strongly believe that there are still some things that she doesn't know yet. Mostly because she doesn't even know what happens after her death. Like, that's a certainty. And not only that, but, like, whatever is happening behind the scenes, it's just like the lid on a jar of jam. It's not going to open unless you believe it will. I could go for some jam right now. I'll be right back. I have to believe that I can change my fate. If I don't, it's not going to change.
富武さんと高野さんがですか？それは本当ですか？
I've told Irie about this so many times in the past. Irie tends to listen to me more seriously than Tomitake and Takano do. However, that doesn't mean that he can actually do something about it.
お社様の巫女の僕が嫌な予感がするから。では、理由になりませんですか？
わかりました。そうおっしゃるなら、お社様のご神託かもしれませんね。今夜そんな事件があれば、5年目のたたりということになってしまいます。お二人には注意するよう、私からも伝えましょう。
All Irie would end up doing would be warding the two of them, which was exactly the same thing as what I did. In other words, it wouldn't matter in the least. Irie is just a researcher, and he has no ability to deal with unexpected trouble. That's why Takano works for him, after all.
くれぐれもよろしくお願いしますです。ペコリ。
Who else would treat me seriously? Who would be able to prevent Tomitake and Takano's death? That's right. There's one man who has been fighting the curse of Oyashiro-sama with all his might.
あれ？フルデスさん？探してたんですよ。赤坂さんがぜひお別れの挨拶をしたいと言って探してたんですが。
つくづく赤坂とは肝心な時に縁がないのです。
先日の温泉の件をずいぶん恨まれているようですね。赤坂さんも何も恩返しができなかったことを悔やまれていましたよ。長い休みが取れたら改めてひなみ沢に来たいと言っていました。それを奥さんに勘違いされちゃったみたいで。可愛いけどあの奥さん家に帰ると怖い人なんだろうな。
大石、実は大切な話があるのですが、誰も信じてくれませんのです。
いかがなさいましたか？
I've spoken to him several times in the past too. He usually takes me pretty seriously. However, after they die, he starts suspecting me. That's why I stopped talking to him. Yeah.
それをどこで聞いたんですか？どの辺で？
There's grounds for suspicion. I told him that I heard someone talking about murdering them in the crowd. That way, he might not be suspicious of me after the murder really happens.
確かに富武さんはよそ者だし、高野さんと合わせれば2人。一人が死んで一人が消えるか。確かに5年目のたたりとしてはあってもおかしくなさそうですね。デマの可能性もありますが、わかりました。ダメでもともと。お二人をマークさせましょ
う。襲うなら、ひなみ沢と沖宮の間の道だとも言っていたように思いますです。
Tomitake's body will be found on a road leading out of the village. From what I remember, he's discovered where the concrete road turns to gravel.
わかりました。車を1台張り付かせましょう。そのくらいの余裕はありますので。
He agreed to get involved, and he wasn't suspicious of me either. I'm sure it seems odd to people that Oishi actually believed this phony-sounding story of mine. The thing about Oishi is that he strongly believes that there's no smoke when there's no fire. I've learned from experience that he tends to believe my information. However, that personality of his has caused me so much trouble in previous roads. Of course, there's no question why he's so eager to believe me either. This is his last chance to expose the curse of Oyashiro-sama before his retirement. Even if it might be fake, he still wanted to believe it. That was convenient for me since I couldn't show proof.
クマちゃん、聞こえますか聞こえますか？沖宮への帰り道の途中にパトを1台貼り付かせてください。いえ、単なる警戒です。良くないことがそこら辺で起こるかもしれないという噂が入りまして。2人程度でいいでしょう。お願いいたします。
ありがとうです。
Okay.
誰も僕のことを信じてくれないので困っていたところなのです。
それを信じるのが警察です。何事もなければむしろ無事を喜ぶべきじゃないですか。出動を空振り、これを喜べ。私の先輩の言葉です。それにせっかくのタレコミ情報を見過ごして事件を防げなかったらこれほど悔しいことはありませんからね。
I see. That's his way of thinking about things. That was why he believed me without question. Apologies right over here, folks, but I'm just gonna lower the volume here a little bit more. Nah, that doesn't do like anything, I think. Unless... No. Like, I have like this system lowered, and even Higurashi itself like lowered at the volume that I had before, but for some reason right now I feel so loud again. I hope he won't consider me a suspect after they find their bodies tomorrow. I think I'll definitely figure out that it is definitely louder than usual when there's like a sound effect that's gonna blast in my ears like last time. I think that at that point I'm gonna figure out that yeah, some volume has been changed somewhere. I shouldn't worry about that now. I can still do more. Who else should I talk to? Freaking Akasaka? Like, come on, what is it doing? Should I talk to my friends? Yeah, definitely, of course. But what the fuck is Akasaka doing right over here? It's just like, oh, okay, I understand. We gotta do things ourselves when it comes to the child consultation arc and saving Satoko right over here. But he's not even gonna help us, like, in this situation. I can't give up. I should at least try.
まさかそんな物騒なことを言ってる人がいるのかい?
Like, I'm gonna be just as mad at Akasaka as Rika is. Me and Rika, we surely have been at in the same wavelength of emotions this chapter, haven't we? I relate to Rika a little bit.
よりにもよってこの日に不謹慎だな。
あれか？今日起こるかもしれないって噂のお社様のたたりってやつか？
うん。連続4年起こってるからね。やっぱり今夜も起こるかもしれないと思ってる人も少なくないみたいだね。
怒ると思うのは勝手でございますけど、富武さんと高野さんを名指しするなんて失礼な話ですわね。富武さんと高野さんにも念のため伝えた方がいいんじゃないかな。かな。もう伝えましたですが、信じてもらえなかったです。
そりゃそうだろうな。でも万が一何かあった後じゃ遅いしな。大石さんに話した方がいいんじゃないか？
もちろん、もう話しましたです。
へえ、リカちゃまはなかなか手際がいいじゃないですか。でも確かに用心に越したことはないです。今夜だけは。hinamizawa村連続開始事件、通称お社様のたたり。はっきり言って何年も続かれちゃ困るんだよね。面白がって模倣するバカも出てくるし、何より村のイメージダウンにしかならない。
つまり今夜何も起こらなければそれで連続はついえるわけだろ。なら今夜起こらないように何かすればいいわけだ。
Alright, then let's try and follow Tomitake and Takano. Come on, man.
なんかって何ですの？悪いことが起こらないように村中で見回りでもしますの？
見回りなんかしたらかえって不用心な気がします。
そもそも手の打ちようなんてあるんですか？一応綿流しの準備会の方では連続開始事件を模倣しようとする変質者が紛れ込む可能性もあるので、見かけない顔には警戒しようってことになってる。
Hinamizawaはよその人の顔はわかるからね。見慣れない人がいたらすぐわかる。だからきっと大丈夫だと思うけどな。でもそれでもきっと富武と高野は殺されるのです。リカちゃん、そうだね。私たちにもできることをしてみようよ。
そうだな。一晩中を護衛はできないだろうけど、せめて祭りが終わるまでの間近くにいようぜ。人が近くにいれば悪い連中もおいそれと手出しはできねえだろう。
I couldn't tell if they really believe me or not, but they listened to me at least. We decided to keep our eyes on Tomitake and Takano and protect them for the rest of the night. I guess I've done everything I can now. Though, it's hard to believe this is enough to prevent their deaths.
あとは明日目が覚めた時、何も起こっていないかどうかね。リカは富武たちの死を防げると思っていますですか？無理かもしれない。やはりあの二人が死ぬのは私の命運が尽きることを知らせる時計の時報なのかもしれない。でもさっき高野も言った。山犬が私への警護を厳重にしてくれているから、仮にあの二人が殺されても私は無防備とはならないかもしれない。
Supposed to.
そうしてる間に東京から応援も来るだろうしね。いつものように富武たちが殺されたとしても、その後の状況、それでもダメなら潔く死ぬしかないわね。とにかく今回は最後の最後まで諦めない。あがける限りあがく。どうせ無駄だから残りの時間をワインで過ごすなんて後ろ向きなことは絶対にしない。リカの好きなようにするといいのです。羽生は相変わらずどうせダメだと思ってる？僕はいいもダメもないです。あるがままが運命ですから。期待するから心が痛むか。
If I'm an actress trying to get up on the stage, Hanyu is a real bystander. We have very different opinions when it comes to this.
リカ、何があってもどうか気を落とさないで。なんだか今回もどうせダメだって遠回しに言われてるみたいね。最近あんたと話してるとイラつくことが多いわ。
I understand. Hanyu keeps telling me not to get my hopes up because she cares about me. Because I hope to defeat fate, I get hurt when that hope is betrayed. And the more I get hurt, the closer I get to losing my mind and disappearing. For Hanyu, that means losing her only friend. Losing me is probably the most unbearable thought for Hanyu, since she has to live alone, unable to communicate with anyone else. I just don't understand what Hanyu is trying to... Like, what state of mind Hanyu wants Rika to be in. Like how... Like, for us to live in perpetual loop and not give a fuck about her death, like, whatsoever? That's it? I guess it kind of makes me question how Hanyu has survived all this time, like going through these loops and, you know, being fine with that. But then again, she is an entity that we don't even understand at this point. Like, where is she coming from? Like, how is she the way she is? Versus Rika, who is, you know, still human and all that. I just don't... what does Hanyu want out of Rika? I don't believe that faith can be changed. Even when I didn't have that faith, I still believed that eventually I'd find a way to get out of this maze. I'm just saying that no matter what person would be in this kind of situation to live through these loops like over and over for an eternity, that can change you. I don't know, like, is it possible to reach a mental state where you would go through these loops and be fine with it for the rest of your life, for an eternity? Is it possible? I don't know, but apparently Hanyu is an example of that. I don't know how the fuck she reached that kind of mental state, but one thing is for sure, Rika just cannot do that. Rika cannot become Hanyu with whatever mental state Hanyu is in. They're just way too different people. Perhaps Hanyu knows something I don't. I might just be a goldfish inside of a fishbowl. There might be no way for me to escape my fate. We're stuck alone inside of a fishbowl, yet every day I knock on the glass, believing that I can break it someday. Hanyu keeps telling me that I'm wasting my time. If I get hurt and die, she would have to survive all by herself inside the fishbowl. With that, I think I finally understand our difference of opinions. Because in anything, sorry for maybe I'm misunderstanding Hanyu right over here, but up until this point, Hanyu to me sounds like a very, very selfish person when talking like this. Because, yeah, it is true. She doesn't want Rika to suffer like this to the point where she would lose a friend and she would be alone, which, like, I understand that, like, you're living by yourself by that point, but still, how about trying to change fate so that you both live, like, after, like, this deadly fate? I think that would be beneficial for both of us. Granted, Rika would eventually have to die of old age, and then Hanyu would end up living alone, but maybe there's gonna be like a descendant of Rika that would end up continuing life with Hanyu. I think I've already talked about this. Hanyu has lived for a much longer time than I have. Because of that, she understands the laws of this infinitely spanning world better than I do. No matter how much I refute Hanyu, I can never refute the truth. Even so, I still have to believe in my own faith. I believe in a spear that will pierce the wall of fate. My faith will make that spear sharper than ever. We found Tomitake in the crowd and struck up a conversation with him to keep him around as long as we could. However, as soon as the festival ended, they tried to leave. If they left now, I'd never see them again. Mion tried insisting they stay at her house for a night, but Tomitake refused. Everyone tried various ways to stop them from being alone, because the murderer might be around. Follow them! Like, I don't know, ask Oishi for a car ride. Like, you asked Oishi to keep tabs on them, right? Like, they definitely have, like, Oishi would definitely have Tomitake and Takano under his radar. At least, find a way to ride the car behind them, because they're definitely going to be using a car, that's for sure. They cannot follow them on foot or with a bike and all that. But if we were to use Oishi and, just, like, follow them, that could be beneficial to us. However, we eventually started to believe that they wanted to be alone for adult reasons. And I wound up suggesting that we shouldn't interrupt the two lovebirds.
大丈夫だよリカちゃん。富武のおじさまだって男だよ。いざとなれば高野さんのために獅子奮迅の活躍をしてくれるよ。
そうよね。私に危機があったら二郎さんが体を張って守ってくださるのよね。
そのつもりだよ。
じゃあ私たちはもう行こう。もうだいぶ遅いよ。
ありがとうね。気を利かせてくれて。
くれぐれも誤解しないでくれよ。僕は診療所に忘れ物をしてるんだ。それで診療所の鍵は高野さんが持ってるから、高野さんと一緒に診療所に行くんだよ。
へえ、富武のおじさま、ナースプレイとは奥が深いです。違うよシオン、きっと分娩台を使ったお医者さんごっこなんだよ。
Crash, bang, wham.
はうナースプレイって
がっちり理解できてるなら照れ隠しに殴るのはやめろ。それからミオンとシオン、お前ら下ネタだけ意気投合するな。
I guess in similar fashion to how somebody has that feeling of punching a wall after, like, seeing way too many cute puppy videos and all that. Whenever Rena feels embarrassed, she has the urge to punch something.
じゃあね、みんな。本当に忘れ物を取りに戻るだけだからね。ついてきちゃダメだよ。
富武、本当に用心するのですよ。理科の心配しすぎではございませんの？はあ、
Everyone laughed when Satoko yawned. It seemed like a good time to call it a day. It doesn't feel like I was able to change their fate. I just hope that they pay attention and that they're prepared for whatever faces them. I still might have a chance. All I can do now is pray.
それじゃあ富武さん、またぜひその時は写真を見せてくださいね。
その罰ゲームのシャツ、ぜひ着てきてくださいね。
よっ、美女との一夜、羨ましいね。ヒューヒュー。
またね、みんな。次に会うのは秋頃かな。
私たちが今夜殺されなければね。
Hehehehe, fuck off.
それじゃみんな、おやすみなさい。
おやすみなさい。
That was the best I could do on the night of Unagashi. Was it though? I still feel like we should have followed them. This is bullshit. Like, if I'm not gonna get the perspective of Rika following them to see the murder in action, then at least can we get like a third person perspective? Like seeing them like in the hospital and... I don't know. As far as chances are very high that we're gonna jump to next morning. Oh, wait, hold on. We're actually gonna be able to see their perspective, maybe. Tomitake gathered up his paperwork and slipped it inside his bag.
嫌にしつこかったね。
Oh, thank God. Thank you. Thank you, Higurashi.
そんなに僕らに死んでほしいのかな。
夢の話とはいえ迷惑な話よね。
入江所長にリカちゃんの検査を念入りに行った方がいいと言っておいてください。夢見の悪さは何かの予兆かもしれない。リカちゃんに何かあったら大変なことになるからね。
Takano touched Tomitake's hand gently. As he turned bright red, Takano moved in closer and spoke. The way she acts is just too sexy, Tomitake thought. Ooh.
ねえ、次郎さん。とても真面目な話があるの。聞いてくださる？
なんだい？高野さんまで真面目な話があるってのかい？まさか高野さんまで僕が喉をかきむしって死ぬ夢を見たなんていうのはなしだよ。
そのまさかだとしたら？
え？
Takano stared at him with a mischievous look, as if seducing him, and started whispering into his ear.
驚いているのよ。 あの子には本当に神通力があるのかもしれないってね。
それはどういうことだい？
Takano smiled gently and pulled back her hair. Even seeing her do that made Tomitake's heart race. Run away, Tomitake! Run away!
私、あなたのことが好きよ。
それは光栄だな。
Takano's fingers curled around Tomitake's chin, stroking, tickling, and caressing it. Her movements were very captivating and seductive.
いろいろな男と付き合ってきたけれど、野心も野生味も私には合わなかった。あなたのような固くて真面目な人が一番相性がいいって分かったの。あなたなら私のすべてを受け止めてくれる。私のことを本当に理解してくれるって信じられるの。だからあなたにならミオのすべてを捧げられる。私のすべてをあなたに抱き受けてもらいたいの。この気持ちがわかるかしら。
高野さん、急にどうしたんだい？
Her voice didn't really sound that affectionate. Tomitake knew from experience that he couldn't grasp what was on her mind when she wore a cold smile like that.
いよいよなの。もうじきなの。
It seemed as though she couldn't wait for something to happen. There was a chilling allure to her strange smile that made one question if something exciting was really about to happen.
何がもうじきなんだい？
Tomitake asked, trying hard to resist temptation.
私の夢が叶う日が。
君の夢？
You have a dream?
そう、私の夢。話したことがあったわよね。それともベッドの上で話したことは記憶に残らないのかしら？
いや、覚えてるよ。君の夢。
Tomitake's response was vague. Either he didn't remember or he hadn't understood it very well.
いよいよお社様のたたりが現実のものとなる日がやってくる。その日こそが私の子供の頃からの夢が叶う日。
Today specifically. Since you were a child.
二郎さん、聞いて。私はもうあなたと一緒にはいられないの。
え？それはどういう意味だい？
あなたと私は違う世界に住む存在なの。ここhinamizawaは人の世と鬼の世の接点だから、日の当たる世界のあなたと日の当たらない世界の私が出会えた。
So you're saying that you're a demon?
でももうそれが終わるの。陽光の降り注ぐ日中に訪れた束の間の月食が日の当たる世界の人間と日の当たらない世界の鬼を引き合わせた。私が何を言っているかわかるかしら？
高野さん、まだビールが抜けないのかい？酔ってるね。
お別れの夜が来たの。日の当たる世界を教えてくれてありがとう。あなたの温かさは日だまりの温かさだったわ。騙し合ったり疑い合ったりしない本当に温かい関係だった。だからあなたと別れるのがとても惜しい。
She pulled herself away from Tomitake and slowly stepped back, as if signaling the time had come for them to part.
君が何を言っているのかわからない。何の話なんだい、高野さん。
だからあなたに選んでほしい。 私のそばにいることを選んで、日の当たる世界のすべてを捨てる勇気を見せてほしい。あなたが私の耳元で囁いてくれたことが、どれも本当だったなら、二郎さんに戸惑いはないはず。
By that time, Tomitake understood that Takano was asking him to make an important decision.
まさか君は。
そのまさかなの、二郎さん。
Tomitake got up from his seat and looked Takano straight in the eyes. There was a faint glimmer of hostility within those eyes.
私より仕事が大事なの。やっぱり。
信じられない。君のことを信じていたのに。
Those words were ones of rejection. Takano's lips twisted into a cruel smile.
お社様は人と鬼を融和したそうだけど、そのお社様でも私とあなたを融和することはできなさそうね。
Takano slowly opened the door. 6 men in overalls were standing there at the ready. Tomitake was frozen in shock. The 6 men walked up to Tomitake with no expressions on their faces. It was immediately obvious that they were going to do something to harm him.
これは何の真似だ。
Hinamizawa将校軍は導火線に火がついた爆弾と同じ。
Hinamizawa syndrome.
それが爆発する前に東京はあなたに爆弾を解体してしまうことを命じた。でもね、東京にはこの爆弾が派手に爆発して欲しがっている人もいるの。
おー。
バカな。そんなことをして誰が何の得をするんだ。
Yeah, why?
得のないことをする人なんてこの世にはいないわ。損得があるからベクトルが生まれる。だから私を前にそれを問うことは無意味ね。
信じられない。そんなバカなことを考えている連中がいるのかい。南沢症候群はとても危険な病気であることは君も知っているはずだ。
そうよ。爆発すればとても大変なことになる。だからこそ東京も失態を隠しきれない。
君はその連中に買収されたというのか。
Faction.
元からそういう目的で送り込まれているの。申し訳ないわね。出会った時から私とあなたは住む世界が違ったの。
それで僕をどうするつもりだ。
あなたの協力があれば私の仕事はとても楽になるわ。もちろんそれはあなたにとっては裏切り行為にあたる。
僕に寝返れというつもりか。
二郎さん、私に囁いてくれた愛が本当なら黙って私に協力してはくださらないかしら。もちろん報酬は望みのまま。あなたが私を望むならば一生をあなたのためだけに仕えてあげる。あなたが望むとき、あなたの望むところであなたの望むようにどんなことでも従うわ。私の体はあなただけのもの。あなたの重欲を満たすためだけに独り占めをしていいのよ。私もあなたにならあなただけのしもべになってあげてもいい。ねえ、私の全身にあなたの匂いを染み付けさせたいとは思わない？
Her words were a kind of assault, directly hammering at the emotions men had difficulty resisting. They were like an evil spell to control his heart. Upon hearing them, Tomitake felt an unknown sensation rush up his spine, as his feet froze in place, entranced. However, he forced himself to resist the temptation. He sealed the cracks in his wall of reason to stop Takano from forcefully entering his heart.
断る。
She had known from the start that Tomitake was going to refuse her. Even so, Takano let out a triumphant laugh. It's funny. She thought Tomitake would refuse right away. However, it took him a while to refuse because of how effective she was at seducing him. The time it took him to refuse her was one of victory for Takano. For Tomitake, it was a time of humiliation. Takano continued to laugh. She sounded rather like an evil witch.
そう言うと思ったわ。それでこそ私の大好きな二郎さんよ。
Takano raised up her right hand and gave a signal to the mountain dogs.
おこのぎくん、君も寝返ったのか。
小野木。
失礼しますね、富武ニードの。
二郎さんも鈍いわね。山犬は初めから私の部下よ。この診療所は最初から私たちが掌握している。知らないのはあなたと入江所長だけよ。
I guess this all confirms it, whose side is on who. Tomitake moved into action, sensing the danger that was about to befall him. His fist thrust out as quick as lightning, knocking one man down before he could even blink. However, the other mountain dogs certainly weren't going to just stay there and watch. They all attacked him as one. He tried to strike back with an elbow, but he simply couldn't overcome the difference in numbers. Tomitake tried his best, but soon enough the mountain dogs had wrestled him to the ground.
くそー！離せ！離せんか！こいつジタバタすんな！
They pinned him down so that he couldn't move an inch.
さすがね、二郎さん。6人がかりでも手こずらせるなんて素敵よ。
Takano walked over and smiled while looking down at Tomitake.
ねえ、二郎さん。どうせ断るんでしょうけれど、私の自己満足のためにもう一度聞かせてね。
I'm not surprised about this turn of events. But damn, Konogi, like, you gotta be kidding me here.
やっぱり意見を変えて、私の味方になってはくれないのかしら。
無駄だ。君の仲間にはならない。
その一言が欲しかったの。私の未練を断ち切るためにね。
Takano was holding a small case in her hands. And here comes a shot. She opened it and showed Tomitake what was inside.
その注射は。
いやね。想像がついてるくせに。
バカな。すべて破棄したはず。
You destroyed all of them.
二郎さん、あなたはこう思っているでしょう。たとえ破棄した例の注射だとしても、自分は予防薬を投与済みだから注射されても免疫があるはず。そうでしょ？だから怯えてないのよね。あなたが今回Hinamizawaに来た時に投与された予防薬はね、違うのよ。あなたは今自覚してないだろうけども、すでにレベル3クラスで感染してる立派なHinamizawa症候群の潜在患者なの。
Christ.
二郎さん、注射するとき目を背ける癖があるでしょ。ダメよ。自分に何の注射がされてるか毎回ちゃんと確認した方がいいわよ。
Man. Okay, well, I guess this confirms it. It wasn't necessarily like true enough. There is a vaccine, and then there's an injection that will, like a drug that actually makes it worse. There are two of them. It's not as if there is like one vaccine that if you overdose on it, it actually makes it much worse. So you'd have to put it in good quantity. No, it's two separate things. And the reason Tomitake was so easily like killed, turned like insane because of the disease was because he was already injected with like the lethal drug that would make him go insane. And now Takano is gonna do the final shot. Because if Tomitake had like taken like the vaccines and such, maybe he would have had a chance to counteract this one, but apparently not. He was fooled up until this point. Tomitake struggled to get away, but he simply couldn't move. Upon seeing his sorry state, Takano laughed with glee.
H173 は二郎さんもよくご存知のはずよね。
H173.
投与することで感染し、かつ興奮状態を誘発することで疑似的にレベル5を発症させる。
Damn. Yeah, I guess so.
どれだけ劇的な効果があったかは二郎さんもご覧になってたんじゃないかしら。被験者は盛んに頸部、液下のかゆみを訴えていたわね。過去の症例の文献から見ると、どうもレベル5発症時にリンパ節に異常なかゆみを訴えるケースがあるみたい。抗原抗体反応の一種かもしれないわね。だから二郎さん、あなた運が良ければリカちゃんが予言した通りの死に方ができるわよ。自傷で自ら死ぬか、それとも脳を憎悪で焼かれて廃人になるか。あなたはどちらになるのかしらねえ、二郎さん。
やめろやめろ。
これじゃあお注射は難しいわね。眠らせてあげて。
One of the men covered Tomitake's mouth with a towel soaked in some kind of chemical. He tried to fight it off with all his might, but his strength eventually left him, and he became as quiet as a beached whale. Takano stroked his face to make sure that he couldn't resist. Then she brought the needle toward his throat. She pushed it right into his skin, and she squeezed down on the syringe's plunger. The skin surrounding the tip of the needle swelled up, and eventually the contents were absorbed into his body. Well, I guess this confirms that it was in the neck. That way that when Tomitake scratches at his neck, the needle wound would no longer be visible for the police to find it. I guess this confirms what I was thinking of like a while ago.
さよなら、二郎さん。次に目が覚めるときは楽しい悪夢の世界にいるのかしらね。
Man, and you know, with this confirmation, it does make me think back that truly the police couldn't find like anything that would tell about the nature of this disease. It must be like a really complex disease. Jesus. Like a very complex drug. The mountain dogs finally got off of him. He couldn't even twitch.
誰か彼を私の車のトランクに運んで。
Two of the men lifted up Tomitake and carried him outside.
そうそう。彼の愛用の自転車も一緒だときっと喜ぶでしょうね。地獄へ行っても好きなだけサイクリングができる。
Jesus. The mountain dogs all quietly laughed at the joke.
ではこれより終末作戦を開始します。
They stopped laughing as she began to speak.
おこぬぎは以後の連絡を待て。入江所長から目を離すな。あとフルで理科にも注意してね。どんな第六感か知らないけど、少なくとも彼の死に方だけは当てたわ、あの子。もっと研究したかったけど残念ね。
了解ですわ。こちらはお任せください。道中はお気をつけて。
気をつけるほどもない旅よ。ところで入江所長は？
祭りの後の打ち上げ中でしょう。まだ神社の敷地内にいるとのことですね。
あの研究しかできない坊やがどう取り乱すか見れないのが残念ね。
The one dog started laughing again too. Takano checked the time on her watch. It was nearly 10 p.m. Most people must have left the festival for home. Those people still there were probably enjoying the after party while getting drunk inside the shrine. It was a good time for her to leave without being seen by anyone.
では私も出発するわ。死んでくるわね。
After saying that, she left the clinic alone. She left through the back door. She left amid the moonlight, the singing of insects, and the sound of a river. It was a typical night in Hinamizawa. While enjoying all these sensations, Takano got inside her car. Tometake was sleeping inside the trunk. His bicycle, on the other hand, was loaded into her back seat. Hehe. How ironic. Your bicycle has a better seat than you. I'll let you out of there soon. I should lead him by the road that leads to Okinomiya. That will be a good spot. Takano found a good place to drop him off, but she gave up on it, as there was a police cruiser parked in the area. Okay. She figured that they were probably patrolling to make sure the 50 years curse didn't happen. Good job, officers. No one would ever suspect that there's a curse packed in my trunk right now. Takano drove onto less lit streets with rougher roads. Eventually, the mountain road ended, and she was surrounded by darkness. There were rice fields nearby. She could tell by the sound of the croaking frogs. Takano parked her car by the pitch black outside. She had to stop here, otherwise she'd be too close to a residential area. Indeed, she was nearly in Okinomiya. She would have dumped him earlier, but the police cruiser had foiled that plan. Takano pulled Tometake out of the trunk and left him by the road. She also left him his bicycle. Tometake let out a small groan. He probably wouldn't be long until he woke up.
さよなら、二郎さん。あなたのギクシャクした恋の語りも楽しかったわ。もっと聞かせてもらいたかったから。もうじきあなたは目を覚ますわ。その頃にはあなたはレベル5の末期を迎えてる。
I guess this also confirms that L5 is basically like the highest tier. I doubt that there's going to be like anything higher than that. That's like the most extreme state that one could personally be with the disease. Which I guess they're officially calling it like Hinamizawa syndrome.
あなたは錯乱の挙句、きっと哀れな死に方をするでしょうね。氏脇病が語るように、やはりあなたも喉をかきむしって死ぬのかしら。それを観察できないのがとても残念。そしてあなたの異常な死と私の失踪はこの地に5年目のたたりとして刻まれるでしょう。そうしてお社様のたたりはますます強固なものとなって残る。その礎となれるなんて。次郎さん、これはとても名誉なことなのよ。あなたはこれから命ある身を捨てて 永遠の存在の一部となれるのだから。
That was her last farewell to Tomitake. Takano got back inside her car and started driving. She could see the place she left Tomitake in her rearview mirror, but it was already shrouded in darkness. Alright, well, I'm definitely curious about this next part, though. Is she gonna make herself disappear the way I think? Takano drove through the main street of Okinomiya and made a few turns, heading for the dark mountains in the distance. It had been a while since she left Hinamizawa. It was almost midnight. Because the way I was thinking of before, she was definitely using like a fake body. But the police would definitely recognize that body as Mio Takano. She might have already made it to the neighboring prefecture. It was difficult to tell because she couldn't really see anything in the darkness. Takano stopped her car in the middle of all that. After turning off both the engine and the headlights, there really was nothing but darkness surrounding her. It was as if time itself had stopped. Takano wasn't sure how long she waited, but eventually she saw the headlights of a car blinking twice. Okay, that's a different car, belonging to the mountain dogs. She blinked her own headlights back at it. Soon, she saw several people walking toward her. Two men wearing blue overalls knocked on the window of Takano's car. Obligingly, she opened it. They looked over her face and the paperwork they had in their hands.
ご苦労様。高野よ。
After confirming her identification, they called someone over the radio.
本部どうぞ。ヒナを確保。尾行ないか。
尾行はなし。後方400メートルクリア。
尾行はありません。お疲れ様でした。どうぞ指揮者へ。書類をお預かりします。
書類カバンはトランクの中よ。これが鍵。あとコーヒーがもらいたいわね。入れてくださる？
The command vehicle was a trailer with a bunch of high-tech communication equipment inside. Oh! The light of the electric equipment shone beautifully in the dark.
さあさあ、コーヒーです。どうぞ。
Major? Damn! Another man in blue overalls offered her a paper cup.
ありがとう。私の死体の方は大丈夫？
現地にて偽装終了との連絡が入っております。
現地？岐阜の山中でドラム缶で焼け死になのかしら？
死因までは確認させます。
Operation Doomsday. That was the name of their mission. The goal of the operation's first page was Takano's escape from Hinamizawa and the extraction of 18 specific classified documents. 18 documents. That goal had been completed. Assassinating the liaison from Tokyo, Tomitake, was also one of the goals. That one had also been completed in the way Takano had planned. He was not killed away just because Takano had wanted to see it. It was intentionally planned that way, so that the office in Tokyo would be suspicious of the a.k.a. Institute. Oh. They were trying to create the story that the Institute was upset with the recent budget cuts and the cancellation of their study. Tomitake's mysterious death would be a suitable way to persuade people. Tomitake was not the only one who was expected to die. Takano was expected to do so as well. However, Takano didn't really need to die herself. They had acquired a substitute body for her, so she didn't have to actually die. Takano had no idea how they got. Takano had no idea how they got the body. According to what she heard, a team in Gifu took care of everything. Once Tomitake and Takano were dead, Tokyo would definitely grow suspicious of the a.k.a. Institute. The main purpose of this mission was to make the Institute look reckless.
申し訳ありません、サンサ。現地の工作班で問題が発生したようです。
I guess so. To make the institute look reckless and the project to create like the perfect cure to fail even more, I guess.
問題？どうしたのかしら？
偽装死体の選別にミスがあったそうです。死後24時間経過していたとか。
あら、するとどういうことになるのかしら？つまりサンサは昨日すでに亡くなられていたことになってしまいます。
Takano's body was supposed to be selected from the corpses of people who had died the same day. Which would make sense. The plan was to then burn the body and making identification of the corpse more difficult. Okay. They'd found a suitable body for the plan. However, they just found out that it had been dead for over a day. That would create a hole in their plans.
現地の方で現在収集に当たっていますので。
いいわ。その死体を私ということにしなさい。
は。しかしそれでは。
Hinamizawaを滅びに導くお社様の使いが実は前日に死んでいて、祭りの当日には死者として歩き回っていたか。面白い。それは実に面白いわね。
Takano laughed with satisfaction for a while. The other people in the vehicle couldn't understand why Takano was laughing so much. Takano continued to laugh as if it was the funniest thing she had ever heard.
構わない。岐阜にはそれを私にしろと伝えなさい。そのくらいのほつれがあった方が面白いわ。
よろしいのですか？万が一ということも。
万が一なんてないわ。だって高野美代は現に今日綿流しのお祭りの会場を闊歩していたのよ。たとえ検視の結果死後24時間以上経っていると出たって、おめでたい連中は検視結果の方が間違ってると思ってくれるわよ。
Very unfortunate, but yeah. Takano almost seemed to be enjoying the risk.
了解。現場へその旨連絡します。
それより私の死体はドラム缶の中で焼かれていたの？
はい。高速道路近くの山中でドラム缶の中で焼けていたのを発見されたそうです。
Takano seemed surprised to hear that from him. Then she started laughing strangely again. Nobody could figure out why she was laughing like that.
なるほど。お社様の生まれ変わりは伊達じゃないということなのね。あの子にはやはり人知の及ばない何かがあるということを認めなければならない。南沢の山犬に R の監視体制を厳重にするように連絡を。
了解。
失礼します。沖宮警察が富武の遺体を発見したとの無線を傍受しました。
発見したわね。いよいよ始まるわよ。
Now what I'm curious about is Rika's true purpose in all of this. Cause as of right now, it definitely feels as if only now Takano is realizing that, oh shit, Rika truly has some kind of power and has quite an interest in her, instead of being something that was planned even before. I don't know, like, I'm definitely gonna have to see. If Rika truly was a part of Takano's plan from the beginning, or it was something that was, that became a part of that or if she became part of the plan like much later, like for example from like now.
おいさん、先生が到着してます。
Because that would be quite a twist, that the reason why Rika has this deadly fate was because of her influence in telling Tomitake and Takano to be careful about their deaths. Otherwise, if she remained silent, then maybe she wouldn't have this deadly fate. But honestly, I don't think so, because she has died no matter what. So, I don't know. I get the feeling that Rika was important in Takano's eyes, even before, for reasons that we don't know yet. I don't think that it's because Rika has started talking about this that suddenly her deadly fate has been sealed.
どうもどうも。どうですか、入江の先生。
Well, she entered the area enclosed by a true blue tarp. In there, people from forensics were taking pictures of the dead body from various angles. Irie was squatting down next to the dead body of Jiro Tomitake. When he stood up, he was white as a sheet.
信じられません。
そりゃ私だって信じられませんよ。初見で見た限り、仏は喉をかきむしっています。それも自分の手でです。こいつはまっとうな死に方じゃない。十中八九、何らかのヤバめな薬物でしょう。
彼は何らかの薬物の常習者だったということでしょうか。
さあね。そいつを調べるのはどうやら我々の仕事になりそうです。
Also, gonna add this, even like it happened before, just now commenting on this. But I love it that whenever I resume the reading, the sprites initially just do not flap their mouths, like at all. It takes a little bit until they do.
大石さん。
There you go.
この角材は